and good morning, and welcome to CalRTA's presentation, Discovering Your Division Website. My name is Sue Breyer. I'm a member of Division 33 down in Southern California in the Hemet-San Jacinto area. I'm also a CalRTA CTC specialist and state CTC vice chair. And I would like my colleague and co-presenter to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Smith. I'm with Division 43 out in the desert, and I'm also active with CalRTA's Communications and Tech Committee.
Very good. Before we get going on the presentation, I would like to cover a few housekeeping notes, just so we're kind of all on the same page. Number one, we will not be pausing the presentation at all to address questions along the way. As in many webinars, we're going to go ahead and address those questions at the end. So if you have questions about anything that we are presenting, any information along the way, go ahead and use the chat feature on the toolbar. Hopefully you can access that chat feature on the toolbar. Just wiggle the mouse around or touch your touchpad, and that should bring that menu up. Click the chat, go ahead and type any questions in there, and Marilyn and I will address those at the end of the presentation. Also, we're asking you to keep your microphones muted during the presentation. Just cuts down on that background noise, as you well know, and then we won't have any interference, especially considering this is being recorded. So this recording should be available to you on the CalRTA website, probably maybe towards the end of this week or early next week. So maybe check in at that point. And if you would like to see the recording of the presentation. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and we'll get going on this. So this is all about learning about your division webpage. All divisions, of course, have a webpage. Some people access it more than others, but this is just simply to kind of clarify what is available to you on your division website. So the first couple slides here are going to just show you an overview, a general overview of what you're going to see in the upper half of the website. Okay, the upper half of the website. So as you look at your division website, you're going to see a number of things, okay? And this is going to look very familiar in all of your websites. Over here on the left, you'll see the CalRTA logo. You will see the website's name. You will see the website's, not the website name, the division name. You're going to see the division number. And then over here, you will see the area number that the division belongs to, along with three icons down here that I'm going to talk about. You're going to see this blue bar along here that has a number of items along it, each of which is an active link, and we're going to be addressing each of these items as we go through. So I want to point out a couple things on this top part of the division webpage. First of all, on the left, this CalRTA logo, and a lot of people don't know, this is an active link. If you click on this CalRTA logo here on the left, that will take you to the CalRTA homepage, the state page. Okay, so that's an active link. Over here on the right, this Area 6 logo right here, and of course it would be your area number for your, that your division belongs to. This too is an active link. Many people do not know that each area has its own web page as well as divisions. So if you were to click on this, this is going to take you to the Area 6 web page. And on that web page, which looks a little bit like this, there are active links that could take you to each of the various divisions within that area. Okay, so that's an active link, as is the CalRTA. Now under here, you're going to see three icons: Facebook, YouTube, and Flickr. Each of these little icons is also an active link. If you click on the Facebook, it's going to take you to the CalRTA Facebook page. If you click on the YouTube, it will take you to a series of YouTube videos that CalRTA has produced, many of which are previous webinars. This Flickr icon over here, this is for photos that have been uploaded to Flickr, many of which are from past conventions, CalRTA conventions. And so these are all active links. All along here in this blue bar, these two, each of these is an active link, and we're going to cover each of these separately. So I want to just point that out to you. Okay, so here again is a duplication of what I was just showing you, but there is information below that too that is of interest to you. So every website, division website, is going to look very similar to this. But what you want to take notice of is down here on the left, you'll see this image right here. This is what we call a photo carousel for the division. Now, CalRTA has uploaded a number of pictures onto each division's website photo carousel. Okay, so if you were to go and open the division website for different divisions, you might see some of the same photos. They're kind of stock photos. Many divisions have personalized these or customized this photo carousel to reflect their division a little more accurately, perhaps with pictures of their members, events, luncheons, things like that. So the division web manager or whoever controls the division upkeep can submit pictures, as it says over here on the left. These are editable. You can submit pictures as long as they're in a 4:3 horizontal format. Submit those to Ron Scott at questionsforcalrta@gmail.com, and he will add those to your photo carousel as long as they meet the dimensions. Now over here in the middle under that blue bar is basically the introductory paragraph for each division. This paragraph is customized by the division, and it has such information as the number of members that are included in the division, maybe a background history of that division, and perhaps the cities or the areas that are included in that division. So it provides some information about the division itself. That introductory paragraph may include some active links. This one has active links to their Facebook page or their Facebook group. So that can be included as well. So each of these, the photo carousel and the introductory paragraph can be edited or changed. And again, this description, you can provide that information to Ron at questionsforcalrta. You can type it up, send that to him, and he will make sure that that gets uploaded to your division webpage. Now along that blue band up at the top, we were just basically at the home page. The first active link there is the About Us button. Now the About Us button is not editable. The content is not editable. It is the same on every division website. So if you click on About Us, it's basically going to provide a brief background of CalRTA. Okay, there are two items listed in the About Us. One is the mission statement, which is just a sentence that describes the mission of CalRTA. And down here, how it all began, which takes you through the history of CalRTA starting in 1929. To see the entire statement, all you would do is click the View More link down at the bottom, and that would take you to a longer page and more comprehensive. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Marilyn for this next section.
Good morning. If you click on, or when you click on the Resources tab, you'll find two main things going on. First, if you click on the long blue button that ends with Support Training, you can scroll down and see a lot of help for division web managers as they keep their websites up to date. There are instructions both in incredible detail, more concise for, once you get going, if you forget a step, then you can go into concise, and even video. So there's a lot of help there for division web managers. Resources is also a place for web managers to upload files and links with local information and other resources that they want their members to have. Or perhaps their resources chairman will send them websites or links and ask the web manager to add them to the resources tab. This web page also includes links to CalRTA social media. You can see them down there: Facebook, YouTube, Flickr. They're toward the bottom. Everything that a web manager uploads in a particular division will appear above the social media links. Everything from social media down has been added by CalRTA and is the same on every division website. Scholarships and grants. Here's where you'll find, if you click on that tab, here's where you'll find the CalRTA philosophy that pervades how we, as different divisions, how we approach scholarships, active teacher grants, those kinds of activities. Teachers never stop caring, and that's pretty common among all of us, I think. In support of this, divisions are encouraged to upload information, application forms if needed, and other PDF pages, perhaps with photo stories or collection of photos of past recipients of both scholarships and grants. And you can see that there's a wide variety on this particular example of the different grants that this division wants to highlight. In the photos section, we find a wonderful place for divisions to shine. For example, web managers can collect photos and write-ups and again make photo stories of different division events and celebrations, all kinds of things, luncheons. You can see one division's wide variety right in the middle of this screen. You can see this division's variety of photos and files to explore. In addition, if you scroll down to the bottom of this page, CalRTA includes links to lots of photos from past annual conventions. The update section is similar, I guess, to resources, except that the items that go in here probably are things that won't be there forever, things that change, things that go, they're not relevant anymore, whatever. And so a division web manager can remove what's not relevant anymore and add things that are. This is a place, it's been suggested, where web managers can upload minutes if you want to put your minutes on your website for your members to be able to find.
Okay, the next item, the next to the last item on that blue menu bar at the top says join us. And this is a very easy way for current members to renew their membership, or for the general public, if they happen to be perusing your website and they would like to join CalRTA, they can click on that and that will take them to this large form right here. Each of this form has basically a little brief narrative at the top that states why you should join CalRTA. But the most important part here are these three buttons: apply online, renew online, and apply by mail. To apply online, all they would have to do is click that, and this form is right here. Complete the form, click that they're not a robot, and click the submit button. They would have an opportunity to choose then from paying through PayPal or paying with a credit card to apply online. To renew online, if you're a current member, all you have to do is click that renew online button and also fill out a very brief form and determine your payment method. and then submit that. For those who are interested in applying by mail, to click the Apply by Mail button, you would then download the CalRTA membership application form. On that form, you can choose to either pay by check, if you would like, or you can check the option for your CalSTRS deduction, dues deduction, and then fill out the information and make sure that you just send that via mail. So this is a nice little one-stop shop for renewing your membership in any of these three methods. The last item on that blue bar is the Contact Us button. And this is very important for people who perhaps are looking at the website and would like to ask a question about the division. Maybe they're interested in membership and or whatever they might have. It could be questions or comments. To click on that Contact Us, they would fill out this very simple form right here, their name, email, the subject of their topic, and a brief message down here. Click this and submit. Once they do that, that is going to be sent to one or more email accounts of a division leader, one or more division leaders. The division leaders then can respond to that email and to the person who is asking the question. Now, this second bullet over here is very important. We suggest that each division, whatever the email is that they are using in this Contact Us form, we strongly suggest that you use either a generic or a division email account rather than a personal email account. So information and questions are not going to your personal email. So that's strongly, strongly suggested. Now, your division web manager can change the email contacts by, again, you can find this also on the division webpage under, and we'll show you where this is, under the word newsletters. There's a new link down here that says DWM communication form. When you click on that, one of the options is to be able to change the email addresses that the contact form goes to. Now, that's the upper part of the division website. Now, just below that, we call this, the mid-page categories. And there are 4 different headings along that mid-page. The coming events, of course, are future events for that particular division. Now, it's going to look like a rectangular vertical column right here. You notice the term coming events. And there are 3 on this sample, there are 3 different events. These have already come and gone. But notice that this particular division was actually advertising the coming events for CalRTA, which were webinars coming up and a kickoff event. So different divisions can choose what they want to post here. Most divisions will show their board meetings or their luncheon meetings that are coming up or other key events that the division is participating in. Each of these is an active link. If you click on them, for instance, if it were an event, it might provide you with the location. It might provide you a map on how to get to the event, registration links, or other details that you might want to know. So these are all active links. If you would like to see more than the 3 events that are coming up, you just click that View More button. And you're going to be taken usually to a larger page like this where the remaining events coming up are listed. Again, these are all active links. You can click on them. If you need information for the board meeting, you would click on September board meeting and it should provide a map or information on registering for an event if you need to. So these are just the 3 closest events. Below the View More button, as you can see, this is the 2021 Delegate Assembly, obviously in the future events. These are items that are posted by CalRTA, and these are all consistent on all division websites. So that's below the View More button. These are customized by the division up above. The second item on this is leaders. These are the elected leaders for each of the divisions. And it looks like this on the website. So you'll see this heading, and below that, again, you'll see a vertical rectangular box, and it has usually 4 to 5 names and offices, titles of division leaders for that given division. If you click the View More button, you may or may not see additional board members listed on the right-hand side. So again, it could be something as simple as a black and white sheet like this with the positions on the left and the names on the right. Some divisions even have photos and even brief biographies of each of their board members that they have customized and uploaded as a PDF to this. Now, the division web managers can make changes. They have to request changes be made to this leader list in the box. And again, that can be updated using that new little link that we've put in for DWM communication form under the newsletters heading. And Ron Scott can take care of that for us. That's for this. But divisions can actually upload a PDF of their own with other additional board members that are listed. Marilyn?
This Join Us page is basically a repeat of the one that's toward the top of the page in that blue bar. And it, as Sue already said, it's there by the state. The state put that on there, CalRTA state. And it's simply what she already said, that anybody can apply online, use the form that's already there. You can renew online, which I did this summer. It was a piece of cake. It went really fast. And or print it out and apply by mail. I think that the people who want to have their dues deducted through STRS, well, they never have to renew again, for one thing, so they wouldn't need the first 2 buttons, but the apply by mail would be needed because they need a signature if you want to have your dues deducted through CalSTRS. Newsletters. This is probably the most frequently accessed link on any division's website. Just click on Read a Newsletter and the whole list appear that have been posted to your website. Some newsletter editors are doing the posting, but in most it's the web manager who's doing the posting. You just click on whichever one you want to read and it'll show up on your screen as a PDF, and it's easy to read. Newsletters are stored for up to 2 years on our websites. I don't think there's a magic number. I just think it's what I've been told was the 2-year max. And I think actually after a year, probably nobody reads the others. But who knows? Sometimes you're looking for past information. Below that is this new form that Ron put together, and we're still playing around with it now and then. This new form is from the blue bar down. Above the blue bar, he's explaining what, if you have other types of questions, where you can ask those questions. But from the blue bar down is mainly for division web managers because they want to have changes made to their website, but the changes are such that they cannot do them themselves. Photos, as Sue said, photos for the carousel, the division description, updating the leaders list that shows up on the homepage. They can also get answers to questions. There are links to click on that will enable you to ask a question if you're not clear about something. And of course, click that you're not a robot and submit it. Our IT guy, Ron Scott, is really good about making these changes quickly, unless you ask on a weekend, and answering any questions very quickly. He's very good at that. The legislative, I always trip over this, legislative advocacy section has been expanded, and I really like it. It includes items uploaded by the state advocacy team. If you click on advocacy action, you'll find items that the state advocacy, the state GRC has added, including their new toolkit, which has links to different ways in which you can participate, which any member can use to participate in advocating for our pension security, public education, which are the two main things our organization is all about. The current legislative plan is just that. It's, if you click on that blue phrase, you'll find a detailed plan for all aspects of advocacy in CalRTA, and this is updated periodically. So if you read it now and then you read it again a year from now, you'll probably find changes. And new to this, and this is something that web managers can deal with, this is where if you click on View More, this is where web managers can add files and links just as they can to updates and resources. And here is where division web managers would add links to local legislators' websites and other local advocacy pages, as well as uploading PDFs of any announcements or instructions or whatever your division wants to include. At the bottom of every division's homepage, there are links to CalRTA's homepage, again, just like at the top, it's here at the bottom also, to CalSTRS, to AARP and NRTA. You can always get good information and ideas there. The CalSTRS website becomes especially helpful for you or for any member if you set up a My CalSTRS account, and you would just have to go to their website and set it up if you haven't already. Overall, we hope to see more and more divisions publicizing their events and highlights and use these websites that have been set up for them. Many divisions do. And we hope that we will see all divisions taking advantage of this wonderful, the websites that CalRTA has set up. 86? 86 of these.
Okay, well, we've come to the end. First of all, before we start addressing questions, we just want to thank you, Marilyn and I want to thank you for attending. Sometimes it just helps. You may be familiar with your website. Some of you maybe, no, just go on occasionally, but you're not real sure about what's in there. We're hoping that this little overview was helpful. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and type those in the chat bar, and we're going to address those. And we're also going to be around for a few minutes after we finish right here. If you have any questions about CalRTA and you can't get them answered, write this Gmail address down, this questionsforcalrta@gmail.com. Marilyn checks this every single day. I'm on it nearly every single day. We respond typically within 24 hours to any requests and questions that you have. We also want to strongly urge you to join us on Thursday, October 8th at 10 o'clock for our next webinar. Now, this is going to be designed for division web managers or those who are in charge of or contribute to the updating and managing of the division website. We're going to go into a little more depth on this particular webinar. So this is customizing your division website, how to upload those newsletters, how to upload links that you want to add to your website. And that's on Thursday, October 8th at 10. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop my screen sharing, and that way we can see everybody. And let's see if we can go to the chats here. Okay, and Marilyn, you can maybe answer some of these. The format for the division name on the division website is the standard way of formatting all division names. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, you know, you don't customize or change the name that is on your division website. That's there already. It's not editable. Let's see here. Is the current legislative plan the same as the platform?
Possibly. I think it is, because I don't know, several months ago, I kept noticing that it was saying 2019 legislative plan, and it didn't seem to change. So I wrote and asked about it, and that's when I learned well, Ron apparently changed the wording that shows up on our websites now, but that's when I learned that it is updated, and I guess that is the same as a platform. You would need to write to Susie Dixon to clarify that, though, I think.
Okay. And another question says, I was told that division needs to have categories of photos before stock photos can be changed. Please clarify. I'm not.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
You just, one thing to do would be to watch your website and count how many photos are there. Identify the one, if you want all of them changed, that's fine. You'll know how many photos to send to Ron. If you, for example, that one with the sand dune, we want to keep that one, but we want to change the rest. So people in Division 43 are working on that, I hope, right now, picking out photos they want to include. But you need to know the total so you know how many to send him, if you, and which ones you want to replace, which ones, if any, that you want to keep the same.
Yeah, so you don't have one. Oh, go ahead, Donna.
I have a clarification. I asked about changing those stock photos, and I was told I could not do it unless I had a picture that showed a minority person, a handicapped person, and all these different criteria, which really made it very hard for me in my area there were a whole bunch of requirements like that.
Okay, well, I'm not sure where you got that information, but I have uploaded a number of photos for our particular division and have never had an issue. Ron has uploaded every single picture that I have submitted, as long as it was in that rectangle. Yeah, don't do portrait photos, by the way, folks. Okay, make sure that they are the rectangular 4x3, okay? Approximately 4x3 rectangular photos, horizontal, okay? But I've not had a problem. We just send them to Ron as attachments, by the way. Send them as attachments. That's preferable. He works with them better that way. And he's uploaded every single photo. So Donna, I'm not sure what happened there, but give it a try again. And I actually asked Ron to remove the stock photos that were there to make more room for our division's photos. And he was very accommodating. He's very accommodating. He'll do pretty much anything you ask. So let me look at another one. Did you mention the division Facebook link on division info paragraph? I think I did.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that's Marilyn's website, her division's website, and they actually put the Facebook link there. And also, I asked Ron Scott to put a link to our division Facebook on that blue bar up at the top, and he added it onto the blue bar. So that's another option for you. So if you guys have a Facebook page or group, all you have to do is get that link, send that to Ron Scott, questionsforcalrta@gmail.com, and he will put that on that blue menu bar on your division page. Let's see. In the photo tab, do the photos need to be on a sheet of photos and put in PDF?
Yes.
Marilyn?
Yes. Yeah. If you go into Division 43, if you want, and I think Sue has done this also.
Yeah.
So Division 33 or Division 43, go into the photos section and click on some of those, and what you'll see are stories. I remember doing one a couple of 3 years ago, probably 2 years ago, because we had a whole bunch of recipients of our teacher grants who actually sent us information of what they did with the money, and a couple of them even sent photos. It was great. It was really fun to put that together. So wander around in those, you'll get some ideas.
Yeah, you cannot upload a photo to the photos page, you have to put the photos on like a PDF. So you take your photos off of your computer and add them onto like a Word document, okay? And save that as a PDF, and you upload the PDF. We're going to be talking about that in our next webinar, okay? So if you want some information on how to create those pages to put and I'm not talking about the photo carousel, okay? I'm talking about adding photos to your website for whatever. So we're going to be talking about that in our next webinar. So you might want to stay tuned for that. With regard to photos, good question. Do you need permission from the people whose photos are being shown? I would suggest yes, before you upload them.
Yeah.
Ask them if they're good with that. Go ahead, Marilyn.
We started keeping a photo release file. I don't know if Maggie still has it or if she sent it on to our new president. Mostly for the kids we were photographing, for scholarship awards, but we just collected them on everybody. We've been told that we probably don't need them for adults because adults can either decide to be in the picture or not, whatever. But we just had been collecting them from everybody on the board, everybody at luncheons, but especially for the photos of children, youngsters. I shouldn't call seniors and high school children.
And there's a quick note in the chat from Jim Sterling. He said that in 10 years, he has never heard of the qualifications that Donna mentioned earlier. But he is going to check on that and get back to everybody. Okay, just so you know, if there are any issues that we need to be concerned about when we provide photos. That's the end of the chat questions. Are there any other questions? I think we still have, I can see everybody. So if you have a question, you're welcome to unmute yourself and raise your hand. Anybody have any further questions? Susan.
Yes,
Merritt.
I just put it on the chat. For the photo permission, do you have a form? Is there a form available, or does somebody have a form that I could use, or is that something I have to make up myself?
Now, if you use that questionsforcalrta@gmail, use that, make a request, I'll see it. And
Okay.
I'll get somebody in the division to send me that form.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Any other questions? Okay. Well, oh, I'm sorry.
Bill, yeah,
Bill, I
Bill
see
Britton
you.
here.
Yeah.
I just went online and did a search for photo release forms, and there's a lot of different
Yeah, they're on.
apples online. I just downloaded one while we were talking about it to
Very good.
look it over.
Yeah, Google is awesome. Just Google it, and you can always come up with all sorts of, I love Google. You just do anything on it. But yeah, Donna, you have a question?
Yes. Could you repeat the two divisions that were given as example for photo 43 and 33?
Yes.
Sherry Beck?
Yeah, the release form. So how do you keep all these forms? Okay, so you have different people. Sometimes you have the same people. Of course, now we don't have anybody coming to luncheons, but when we did, and when we will in the future, So do you like have them a file, or, I mean, how do you accommodate? I mean, I've never heard that, you know, being a teacher, I understand kids, but I don't understand adults that we have to keep these release forms.
You shouldn't have to for the adults.
No, you shouldn't.
But then, but what you were saying, you have them for everybody on your board and all that kind of stuff. That's what I didn't understand.
I'm not sure that has been kept up. I know that when they first started the forms, because it was when we were first showing photos of scholarship recipients.
Yeah. But
And-
scholarship recipients should, unless they're in high school, but most of them are in college, right?
Oh,
No.
all of ours are high school in our
Yeah.
division.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Makes
Yeah,
a
but
big
when I think of
difference.
scholarship, okay, I get it. Okay, so it's just it's for non-adults.
Right,
But
yeah, those
18
are the ones we
or
keep,
under.
those are the
Okay.
Okay,
ones
that
that we keep up, yeah.
And there's
And-
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marilyn.
Oh, I was just gonna say the president was keeping the file. That was it. It just passed from president to president.
Well, and somebody posted, perhaps CalRTA could post a standardized permission form to be released. So that's a really good idea. Thank you for putting that chat in, whoever added that. Somebody said photos, if they are members and at a public event, there should be no worry. I mean, if you're taking group photos at a luncheon, you know, you can't go around and get everybody's names. But, you know, if you're at a luncheon, you can always announce, say, hey, I'm taking a variety of photos today. If you absolutely positively do not want your face on the CalRTA website, division website, come up and let me know and I'll try to weed out that photo. I mean, you could do that as well. Yeah, Bill?
I would suggest, like, when we're having, just make a standard sign saying that we may be taking photos at the luncheon for our website or our newsletter, and just to make people aware of it, and then
Yes.
just give them a chance to come up and tell you they don't want their picture used would probably suffice for any events we do.
Perfect, perfect. So yeah, I think every division kind of handles that situation. Marilyn?
Sophia, does Sophia have a question?
Right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I've been fooling around here wondering why.
Sorry, I didn't see your hand up there.
Real quick, we have two websites, one for our division and one for the scholarship. And notice was brought to that because there's not the same information. So my question, not being the web manager, is how do we create a reciprocity so that both websites are providing links to everything that's offered on the other?
The only one of those two, the only one that your division web manager controls that we're talking about is the one that CalRTA set up for your division.
Right. Okay.
If that same person or some other person, obviously it'll have to be somebody being the web manager for the scholarship one.
There is another person, but we're trying to find one person to do both.
Yeah, I would too. The best way I can think of is to have, well, you might have, you know, ask Ron, use that DWM communication form underneath, and ask Ron to put a link in your introductory paragraph to the other websites, URL, to the website address.
Okay.
And then you could also have a link to that website or any part of that website in any PDF that you add under the different categories. That would be another way.
Okay. So the main concern was that the student applications for our annual scholarship were not offered on Division 58 website, but only on the scholarship website. Whereas vice versa, only the teacher scholarship was offered on the Division 58. And so what we want to do is to, and it sounds like it's simpler than not, to manage to put the link in. Okay.
I want to defer to Jim Sterling. He's might have a response to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering why you have separate websites. To me, it's kind of diluting the effect of CalRTA. if you had the links to the scholarship materials and so forth on your division website, there would, I don't mean to be critical. I mean, your organization obviously has thought this through, but it sounds to me like sort of overkill. On your division website, you put the link to the materials. So that.
It started, Jim, because people managing it weren't in the educational sector. They weren't teachers. They were from private. So that's how that all started. But we'll resolve it because it shouldn't be separate. And it needs to carry the CalArt RTA so people know where it originated from. So we're working on it.
Okay.
Good.
Great,
But,
Sophia.
but
Thank you.
you didn't let anything stand in your way, and you got the job done.
Yes,
Oh, absolutely. Very successful.
Applaud for that. Yes.
there you go. Any other questions that we can address or respond to this morning? If not,
Sue,
oh, Jim? Yeah.
may I ask one question by a show of hands? How many people have their monitor screen on full screen setting? How many have it on full screen setting? Okay, I'm just interested in that because I saw a lot of people, as I was watching, a lot of people were sort of going like this, trying to see stuff on their screen. And I'm wondering if we need to publicize the fact that when you join one of these, turn your screen to full screen so you can see more easily everything that's there. Thank you very much.
Yep. Well, thank you all. Oh, I'm sorry, Shirley. Unmute yourself, please. Thanks.
Press down the space bar.
Yep. Press the space bar on your computer down. Space bar. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. This is a larger question. I am the newsletter editor for Division 11, but I also sort of dabble in the website. And one of it's not exactly a question, but I'd like to hear people's responses to it. I don't think that many people in our division, we're a very small division. I don't think many of them access the website, even though I have a whole page devoted to it in the newsletter. But a kind of a question I have in my mind is, I post the newsletter, our Division 11 newsletter, on the website. And it seems to me there's a kind of repetition. Here's the nub of the thing here. There's a kind of repetition between the newsletter and the website, because most of what I put in the newsletter would be something to put on the website as well, like the photos and that sort of thing. And I'm just wondering, does any other division have questions in their minds about this kind of possible repetition?
Okay.
One of the things we noticed was, especially that year when we got so many, this year's going to be weird because of the interruption with COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we had all those responses from the recipients of the teacher grants, and we were sending, I did this and we could do that, and they sent photos and all kinds of stuff. We couldn't put it all in the newsletter. There wasn't room for it all. So that's why I did that photo story, and it's, I don't know, 3 or 4. I use, when I'm going to do a photo story, I'll choose to use, 8.5 by 14 size, not that I'm going to print it out, but to be able to set it up, and then in a Word or Publisher, and then convert it to PDF. But it's still, with a large page size like that and almost no margins, it was difficult to fit into the 3. So, and there was no way all that was going to go into a newsletter. So we referred to it, but we couldn't put it all in there. We could put little snippets, and that's about it.
Jim, did you want to comment on that?
Only to say that we need to remember newsletters as we know and remember them are dying. We're dealing with younger people coming along who don't read stuff off a piece of paper. They read it from a screen. And so our newsletters are going to be changing the impact that we have as we reach out to people. We need to redesign our newsletters. They need to be much shorter, much more concise, and they need to drag people to the website.
Gail, can you press your space
I
bar
agree.
on mute? Gail Matson.
I'm really fortunate because Sue is our vice president. So everything we do with our newsletter, with our website, on Facebook is perfect and the best that's out there. But I do want to make
shucks.
2 quick points. Number 1, I agree with Jim, and I'm a dinosaur that's being drug along. However, we have nearly 300 members in Division 33, and over 1/3 of them are not online. And so our newsletters are terrific, and they're designed in color for people who get them via email, and we snail mail 170 plus another 150 to area retirees who are not yet members. So we do a huge business with our snail mail newsletters on purpose, and we're going to continue that. And then one quick comment to the woman who was asking, I guess that's Shirley, who was asking about newsletters. Our newsletters always have feature articles. We just did one on the Women's Amendment. We have stuff on voter. We did the Cal RTA propositions. We have tons of information, hot links, different sites in our newsletters that doesn't appear on our website,
Right.
which is often pictures and stuff that continues for several months. So Sue does a terrific job, and our 8-page newsletters are pretty awesome. But we're going to keep snail mail newsletters and email newsletters purposefully. And in fact, next month, we are going to monthly newsletters.
Yeah.
We're going to absorb that cost, and they will not be 8 pages. They most likely will be 4 pages, because there's all kinds of mass mail regulations that you have to follow. But that way, we'll be keeping in touch with our people online, which we do really well. But we're also going to reach out to a third of our members who are not online.
Yeah.
So thanks for today. Thanks for the good stuff. I didn't really have to be here because, hey, I have Sue Breyer.
Donna, you wanted to make a comment?
Yes, like Gail, we have over 500 members, and I still send out 400 newsletters on paper, even though we also send out hundreds of e-newsletters. But one of the advantages, Shirley, is that our newsletter digitally is becoming really hard to email for some people to receive. So by putting it on the website, we can send the link via email. And that has 2 advantages. One, they get to the website, but they get the newsletter also. So I wouldn't worry that much about duplication. It's a question of access. So go for it.
And something you all might want to consider, because we hear over and over again that, well, our members just aren't going to our division website. They're going to get all their information from the newsletter or whatever. So next time you have, it might be down the road a ways, but next time you have a luncheon, I suppose you could even do this with a virtual event, have a website scavenger hunt, provide incentives like a prize, a gift card, a $20 gift card. If, where would you find information about such and such on our division website? And if you can tell me where you can find it, then, you'll get a gift card or something. Scavenger hunts are kind of fun, even for adults. And I think people don't use the website because they're intimidated by buttons and links, and they don't know. They think that if they click on something, they're going to break it. and they're not. We need to reassure them that the website's good. It's not going to get broken if they click on the wrong link. So we've just got to keep people working on it. And I see Pat, your hand is up down there. Go ahead and unmute.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I use division websites all the time to go to their newsletters. When I want to know what time is a meeting that, you know, not this year, but other years, what time does a meeting start? I go and I look it up in their newsletter. When I have someone from my division that moves to another area, I can go on and I can tell them, okay, this is that division's officers, you can contact them. This is, you know, a newsletter. So I find that using the newsletters on the division websites is very, very helpful to me for a lot of reasons. And I find myself very frustrated if I go to a website and a current newsletter is not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And that's part of the importance of maintaining and keeping that division website updated. And that's where your division web managers come in and anybody else who contributes to that. And Marilyn and I are going to put a lot of emphasis on that on our next webinar. So we're just about out of time, ladies and gentlemen.
Sue, I also wanted to say that when I find really great things from another division, I contact them and ask them if our division can use that too.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
hey, why reinvent the wheel? Some of these divisions have wonderful, wonderful things.
Yes.
So
I got a lot of my ideas for our Division 33 website by looking at Marilyn, what Marilyn does on Division 43, because she's got every category, and I didn't know what to put under updates, for instance, and I went on her website and I went, oh my gosh, look at all those things. So I went back and I added those on mine. So yeah, I think going on those websites and seeing what others have is always a good thing. Just, you know, type in a division number and see what pulls up and find the ones that you like and then copy them. Marilyn?
Mary Dixon asked a question about where bylaws would be posted. We just had ours approved. They still need to be approved by the board, so we're still calling them, you know, they're not finalized, but they've been approved by the state committee. So, and we put them under updates. And I think when they're finally approved by the board, which is the last step, then I think I'm going to move them over to resources, or maybe I'll put them in both places.
Yeah.
So it'd be easy to find.
Yep. And Bill Britton, you mentioned perhaps adding a counter onto the website. Is that to just find out how many people actually access it? Is that what your point is there?
Yeah, it's a tip. I don't know if you probably remember years ago, they used to actually display them.
Yeah.
But now, you can have counts of, you know, your home screen or what is the most popular, like is the newsletter truly the most popular?
Right.
That kind of data, I think, can be collected, and I would, you know, automatically, and maybe we would get a report. Maybe people would be surprised either how little or how much or what parts are the most important. Something feature for us.
Very good.
In our tiny little IT group, we've been talking about hits. And also I have in several emails with Ron, and I think it's a feature that would need to be added, or maybe it's already there, but it's not for the division websites. It's for particular pages in the state website. I know that we had, when Info Exchange was still up and running, we could go into each person who posted could go in and see how many views each one had. I refer to them as hits, but you know, different terminology, doesn't matter. But we have been talking about that recently, only I think, I'm not sure, it might be something to bring up with Ron again to see where he is in the process of, or
Yeah,
maybe
we could certainly inquire.
we can, yeah.
Well, folks, we're at our time's limit. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I'm sorry, Sophia, we didn't get to your final question there. Feel free to email us though if you need to. But thank you all for coming. Please register for our next one. We hope to see you there, and make sure that your division web managers or anybody who's contributing to your website comes to that next one. We're going to be talking about a lot of strategies on that. So until then, y'all stay healthy, okay? And thank you for coming. See you later.